Fate decided.
Let's get this party started.
Craven something scary.
Hello, Sydney.
KillJoy Jake.
Don't you swear at me, you little shit! Don't you ever raise your voice at me! I am your mother!
Nightwatch Zone.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
Get up!
The collective has spoken.
Yo, what's up, Lethal Collective? Q&A Mondays. KillJoy Jake is dancing. Fate decided is here. And
that sounded really underwhelming. They're like, look at this guy dancing, and this guy's here too.
It's okay. That's how I feel today.
I know. I didn't want to get deep into the reasoning of it all, but what's up, guys? How you doing?
Wonderful. Nightwatch is here.
He's here, everybody. Heck yeah. What's up?
Yeah, man. I'm glad to be here. For you guys in the chat, as always, a blanket hello. Hope you're all doing well. We'll check in with a few of you guys in a second, but obviously to say, leave us your questions. We'll try to get to as many as we can. We may not be able to get to them all, but we will try our best. And let's say we got Lisa in the chat. What's up, Lisa? Our friend Bluck is in the chat. All right, what's going on? Sounds like something you'd say like in Mortal Kombat. Blocker win.
Blocker.
Fatality.
Finish him. Russell, what's up? He knows what's going on. Smash the like button before he even came into this world. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah. Let's see what else. Jack Champion is in the chat. What's going on?
Wow, celebrity guest today.
We got celebrities.
We get that here and there. And Blucka, yeah, Hayden's brother, I guess, passed away.
Ooh, really?
What?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I did not know that. Dang.
Yeah.
Prayers up, you know.
Yeah, definitely. It's really, really sad, man. I had actually just seen it, and I think he was 28.
Oh my god.
He's young.
Yeah,
He's
man.
a kid.
Yep. They don't know the what happened, the reasoning, but yeah, man, it really sucks. You know,
it does.
Definitely. Yeah.
I hope she's doing okay, man. Poor
Yeah.
Kirby.
I know, man. I was about to say, man, she's, it's been a rough situation for a little while for her, man. I hope she's okay.
Yeah.
Jen, thank you so much. Just letting everyone know, please hit the like button, subscribe. And this is a spoiler-free stream. Anyone attempting to put spoilers will be removed. And we're assuming we won't have to do that. You guys know the situation. We've been under this protocol for the last, what has it been, like a week and a half?
Yeah.
We didn't have any problems in the last stream, so that was good.
So, and we're assuming we won't today.
Yeah, and I will say someone did try to spoil Scream 6 over on my page, but I fanned diarrhea all over their pillow just to make sure they don't do it again. So I will do that again for anyone who tries to do that here. I'm not afraid. Let me tell you. So.
No fear.
No fear.
Thomas Hewitt is in the chat. All right, we got the Leatherface representing. All right,
Another celebrity.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
All the way from Texas. Kobe, what's going on? Good to see you. And Denisha, good to see you too, Denisha. What's up? Sarah's in the chat. All right. And look who's here. Bob Hunt himself.
What's up?
What's up, Bob? How's it going?
How are you,
Entertainment. All right. Austin, what's up? Good to see you. Darkness Madness. Wow. I love that. Good to see you. Good to see you. And Carrie Crave Cinema as well, saying hello, everyone. Much love to the chat. Also have to state my deepest gratitude to the Lethal Collective and also to the community. Words can't describe how blessed I feel. Carrie is marching to 500 subs and beyond.
Yeah, she's 4 away.
Yeah,
4 away. Okay.
We got to make it happen.
Carrie, put your channel in the chat so people can go subscribe to it.
Yeah.
So you can hopefully go get the 4.
Yeah, she's so close.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yesterday or last night she was at 472, I believe. So Yeah, let's make this. We should be able to make this thing happen, guys. So, Carrie, please post your link as much as you would like. Just
Let's
do
get
it.
you to that 500.
There should be no reason. There should be no reason that we don't do that. In this stream. Let's see. I think I caught up to everyone. So, gentlemen, and we will take your questions as we see them. We'll try to answer as many. Vale as well. What's going on? So, gentlemen, where are we going to start?
Well, we can. There's a million ways we could start.
Wow, I love the way you put that. You're like, well, that is true.
There are. This is an ever growing branch and tree of just things in general. I think one thing that we like touch on, not the spoilers directly, but just like the time that we're getting into, right? Like we are inching closer. I mean, we're what, like a week and a half, something like 2 weeks or something like that.
2 weeks.
Film. Yeah. So, and the embargoes and all that stuff, all those are going to get lifted usually like a week before. So, just be cautious when you're going into streams or you're looking stuff up, or, me and Jake kind of touched on this briefly in the Friday stream. It's because, I mean, at the end of the day, you are responsible for your your knowledge. And yes, people can do whatever they can to spoil it and stuff, but you got to be cautious, right?
Absolutely.
Also, just because something's going around doesn't always mean that it's true, right?
Yes.
I'm not saying it is or it isn't. I don't know either way. But what I'm saying is that, there's a lot, like most Scream movies have had multiple endings, alternative. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that maybe they change something, or they decide to like, hey, this close to like the release of the movie, it might be a little hard, right? Like,
but also, dude, like, go back to Scream 2, man. They purposefully leaked stuff with that movie.
Oh yeah, no,
you know what I mean?
Right.
They leaked the entire movie, and it wasn't like the movie. It was just so people would run with it.
It could be fake. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on out there. I'm not looking out for that shit. But like, man, it could be fake. I don't know. I have no context. And if that's the case, kind of a great move on their part. Get the fan base all riled up, and then you go to see the movie, and you're like, wait a minute.
That's right.
Hang on a second. That's not what I saw, So that would be great if that was the case. I don't know. I'm not behind the scenes. I wish I was, but
well, I'll tell you what, man. If we come to find out that all of this was, just a purposeful leak, and there were so many people running with it, that's going to be a fun conversation to have.
I will praise them all day, every day. If that they did that on purpose, like hell yeah. Because like, I mean, this day and age, it's marketing. This day and age, dude, it's like it's so easy for things to leak. To give them something like that, like, oh, this guy might leak something, so this is one of the endings. Maybe that's how it got out or whatever. I don't know. That would be cool. That would be really a really smart thing to do.
It's also just odd. Yeah, it's also just odd because like the person is actually on the thing. Like, you think if like, if you were going to leak something, Jake, wouldn't you try to do it anonymously, as anonymous as possible? Like, wouldn't you try, wouldn't that be like something like, I don't know. Like, again, I'm not saying that they did do it purposely, but it would make a lot of sense. And it would be a great way to kind of get people talking, get people upset. Radio Silence said that they knew about it immediately. Right? Like, that was the whole thing. Like, hey, that they were aware as soon as it happened, they knew it was out, and they weren't really in a rush to stop it.
And okay, on top of that, though, too, I don't know if you've read any of the newest Scream 6 articles. I've been like kind of just catching up on some stuff from the past couple of days. They've been in like a few interviews recently where they're talking about like some of the backlash they've been getting. They're totally redirecting the conversation, and they're not really talking about that specifically. Like, they're talking about the Ghostface with the shotgun again and all that. I did a whole video on that today. They talked about that. They talked about like a more brutal Ghostface, just a bunch of other stuff related to the movie and not the leak specifically.
Right.
I think that's really telling, because I feel like these are the guys who would hop on that immediately, which would jump to give some kind of answer back to it. Maybe in a couple of months, they might tell us something about something else we don't know about right now. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I really hope that that's the case, because there are so, many people, not to keep going on and on about it, but there's so many people that really, they got let down, that it was spoiled for them and so forth and so forth. I mean, with Scream movies, you get that chance to be totally surprised once. That one time you watch it, and then you
Yeah.
know what's going on, and then every time after that, it's for the love of the movie, or the curiosity of finding out, or figuring out how things worked to get to that ending. So, there are some people that really got stung pretty hard that they were robbed of that one time to be surprised. For me, it's the type of thing where, and I haven't been spoiled yet, but I'm prepared to be. And even if I
It comes with the
was,
territory
it
for us.
exactly,
It
and even
does.
if I was, I'm
It
still going to
sucks.
watch it and still enjoy it
Yeah.
anyways.
But I mean,
Hopefully.
that's the beauty though of like Scream and its rewatchability, right? Like,
Mhm.
because like once you do know who the killers are, right?
Mhm.
Like, and you go back and you watch it again, you start noticing all like and you're like, how did I not notice that the first time? How did oh man, this was so
Mhm.
obvious that it was this person or it was that person, right? Like you start noticing all the little details. In
Mhm.
Night, like I wanna get your thoughts on this because me and Jake talked about this a little bit, and Jake, if you want to elaborate also more on it, and I even made a video about it, talking about how like is now at Scream 6, is Ghostface reveal, is that as significant as it once was? Because like my whole thing on that, like I like obviously Scream is a murder mystery, right? Like a
Mhm.
slasher mystery. You do
Yeah.
want that. You do want all those things. But to me, it's more about like the execution and delivery on that. Like every Scream
Mhm.
movie, for the most part, outside of like '96, was like super obvious who the killers were. Like Scream 2, you saw Mickey and you're like, yeah, that guy's
Yep.
the killer.
Exactly.
Like without a doubt, right? Scream 3, like when you're looking at it, you're like, okay, so it has to be somebody that knows everything there is to know about the history, all the details, Hollywood, all that stuff. So you're like, okay, well, Milton's too old, so it's probably
Mhm.
the guy that they keep alluding to as his son. Like, like if you're watching
Mhm.
that movie, like to me, like obviously we don't want it spoiled, we don't want it ruined, but
Mhm.
like it's something we've even talked about, like early reveals, right? Like if they did an early Ghostface reveal in the first like 10 minutes, like I don't think that would destroy the movie. I don't think it would ruin,
No.
like, because it's going to come down like, what is the end result? What was the execution? I mean, the trailers leaked who the killers were in Scream 5. Like you
That's right.
knew, like you saw Amber and you were like, okay, well, either she's Ghostface or Ghostface lights her on fire, but Sydney's there. So
Mhm.
I don't think Sydney's just lighting people on fire. And
Mhm.
then, Richie, you see him about to get stabbed, and it's like, okay, well, either Sam's the killer, but I don't think they're going to go that route again, or Richie's the killer and Sam's defending herself.
Mhm.
Like, those were the only two outcomes. So it's just like, I don't know, 96, even though, like, Billy was so blatantly obvious as the killer.
Right.
He did everything but wear a sign or had
That's
a
right.
tattoo on his forehead that said, I'm the killer.
Mhm.
But it was just so well executed.
Right.
It was so well executed that like you were like, nah, it's too obvious. It's got to be somebody else. Who is it? And then you find out it's him, and it's like, man, I knew it. And then the big reveal was like, oh, it's Stu too,
Mhm.
right? Like, oh,
Mhm.
it's Stu, and like that's the thing. I look at it. I'm like, yes, it sucks, that there are a lot of people that know the end result of 6. But
Mhm.
one, like, how significant is it? And two, you also got to keep in mind, and here's another reason why they might not change it, is because it's such a small pool that actually know that. It's something we
Right.
talked about. Like, us Scream fans, like us diehard Scream fans, we're a small minority to the overall masses that are going to watch this movie. And
Mhm.
I guarantee you, probably 99% of them that are going to go watch this movie have no clue what the result's going to be, other than
Yeah.
like that 1%. But what are your
Exactly.
thoughts, Knight? I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I mean, I have to agree. I think at this point in the franchise, we've seen these reveals. We know what's going on with them, and so I don't think that that's the biggest part of it. I think the biggest, and I've said this before too, with the franchise, the characters and their journey is really the biggest part of the movie. And it's weird in the sense that a Scream movie, it plays like like a traditional slasher. It plays like something like a whatever, Halloween or My Bloody Valentine or something like that. But the difference between Scream and those other franchises is that we're so drawn into the characters. The characters take front stage. And so with these movies, you're watching it for these characters. You're seeing how they interact with each other, how they deal with, the deaths, and what are the links to the past. And obviously, especially the first 4 movies, if you think about that, it was all about the spider web of all these connections. It was about the relationship with Dewey and Gale. It was about, how is Sydney dealing with the events after 96 and things like that. So, the fact that this quote unquote supposed leak is out there, and for some people, and it's their feelings, and I'm not trying to step on that, but for some folks it really put them down. But like you said, the reveal really isn't the biggest thing now with the franchise, which also makes me think this, and we talked about this as a possibility. I still hope it's possible, but an early reveal, something that changes the rhythm of this movie, and possibly for the franchise going ahead. If we have multiple killers, if we have an early reveal, just to throw us off a little different, as far as what we're expecting in a Scream movie, I think that would be fantastic. You got to shake up something. You look at Scream 5, and like you said, yes, the trailer did ruin it for us. But even if you didn't watch the trailer, going into the movie, and it's part of the advantage and the disadvantage of this franchise. Going into this movie, you're automatically thinking the boyfriend. I mean, they literally talked about it, so you're automatically thinking, are they going to Billy us again? And, they tried to be pretty, sly with how they did things with Richie. And I think some of it was executed pretty well as far as his involvement and his reveal as a Ghostface killer. But I really think it'd be cool to do an early reveal. And we've talked about the idea of cliffhangers as far as, there's another one that's still out there. And we know that was some ideas that they had in the past, like with was it Scream 2 that they were going to have the shot of Ghostface in the tower,
in the bell tower. Yeah, at the end, yeah. Where Sydney's walking on the grass, and the camera pans up, and you see that empty bell tower. Originally, it wasn't supposed to be an empty bell tower. It was supposed there was supposed to be Ghostface looking down.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good idea. I mean, obviously, hindsight is 2020. I think the franchise has done a lot of great things up to this point, but I think now we're 6 movies in, and I think definitely doing some different things like that isn't a bad idea. I mean, will it work? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, execution is obviously a big part of it, but I wouldn't mind them doing something to really shake up the formula even more.
Well, and to your point, Knight, like that's half the reason I'm excited for this film. Like half the things I've been saying about this movie is I'm so excited to see what they do differently. And while I am excited to find out who the killers are, killers, whoever, I don't know the big changes. Like, I don't know what they're doing to implement. Like, I don't know what their motive is. I don't know what they're gonna do to implement something just totally different about this one. That's the thing I'm the most excited about, and I feel like you can't really spoil that in a clip. Maybe if I let somebody explain the entire movie to me or something like that, then okay. But like there are a lot of things to still be surprised by with this movie, and that's why I'm still really excited for it. Thankfully I haven't gotten spoiled yet, but we still got a long way, long march.
I know it is a long way.
Yeah,
it is. It's a long time between now and then.
It's funny because when the spoilers came out, for the Halloween movies and stuff like that, you usually figure a week out, maybe a week and a half out. Yeah, batten down the hatches, right? But I mean, this is so far ahead. It's like when I first heard that there were spoilers out, I was like, oh my god, good god.
Yeah, well, my thing too, they have done such a good job keeping this film tight-lipped that it's just weird that randomly the most important part of the movie gets leaked. Like I don't know. Like, again, I'm not like conspiracy. Like, I'm not saying like let's put our tinfoil hats on and go down this rabbit hole. It's usually the simple answer is the real answer, right? Usually it's just like, it very well could have just happened. But it's just the whole situation is just odd, period. Like, you think of like Radio Silence, you heard the news, like once it came out, it was like Radio Silence knew all about it. I mean, Scream 5, they had several endings, alternatives. Maybe it was it Jasmine Savoy Brown that said like that that she did shots with her as Ghostface in Scream 5? I think it was either her or it was one of them. Or yeah, or it might have been Mason Goodies.
I remember something about that.
Someone did.
One of the characters, one of them were like, yeah, no, we actually did shots with me as Ghostface. Like almost all the characters did shots, like did scenes with them as Ghostface, just so they could go for whatever direction they wanted to go. I mean, the same thing could happen, you know. But it's just, again, the whole situation was just odd. You know what I mean? And it's just, again, I'm not saying like let's put our tinfoil hat on and go down that rabbit hole, but it's just interesting.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And real quick too, it looks as though Carrie said, "Oh, dude, I made it to 500." Woohoo!
Yeah, let's go.
Did it.
All right.
Did it.
Very cool. Yes, very cool. Keep it going, guys. And Carrie, feel free to, continue to put your link out there. Very cool and more than deserved. More than deserved.
Agreed.
Congratulations to the Care Bear.
Killing the game.
We got a few super chats coming in. We got Denisha coming in with $2 super chat saying congrats to Care Bear. Yes. Thank you, Denisha. That's so sweet of you. Yes, very much so.
Thank you.
And also the general stepping in with a $10 super chat saying congratulations to our amazing Carrie for hitting 500 subs today. So proud of you. Absolutely. Very proud of her.
Congrats to Carrie and thank you, Val. We appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
No doubt at all. And we had a couple questions popping in today, and also 40 and Fandom is saying, "Hi everyone, had a rough day and grateful for the stream today. Hope that you're doing better. Hope this stream gives you a little bit of fun and thoughts away from your troubles. Hope you're doing okay."
What we're here for.
That's right.
Safe place.
Yeah. Vale coming in saying, "Jake, who is your number one Ghostface suspect?"
I'm still hanging on Josh Segarra. He's number one for me. Like, I still feel like he's pretty sus. I mean, and maybe it's too obvious, but like to me, there's so many little aspects about his character and characters he's played in the past. I've gone through this spiel so many times. I'm sure y'all are sick of hearing it, but I really think he's our number one behind the crack ass mask, whatever we want to call it. I don't know, the butt crack mask. Yeah, that's it.
I still really like the idea of like and maybe that's what it will be. I don't know, but I'm saying like I really love the idea of like the therapist is the mastermind, and then you have like Josh Segura's character is like the muscle, right? Because you look at he's playing Christopher Stone, Henry Zernia's character, like so yeah, like I just one of those things where like I don't think like I would see him running around in the crack mask. I'd rather it be somebody like Josh Segura. Like that would be cool to like see Segura kind of like be the muscle and like going running around. And I just think that would be a cool story. You just have this therapist that's obsessed.
Yes.
And he that's why he took on Sam as a client. And he's just kind of like planting the seeds in her head and stuff. Like that would just be really cool. You could do a lot. And that would kind of go into like Scream 2, right? Like you could like Scream 2, you had Sydney was kind of broken. She's like, Mickey's like her confidant. She's always like talking to him. He's like planting seeds in her head the whole time, the whole movie. Like, I think you could kind of have that, but just like a different approach. I could also see like, what if they do go like the Scream 2 route? And what if like Josh Segura, I actually wanted to make a video about this. Like, what if like Josh Segura is like the boyfriend or the love interest? Because that's what he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be the love interest. We think, oh, he's the killer. He's this, he's that. And then they like full on pull a Scream 2 where like she kills him thinking that he's the Ghostface and it's not. Like that would be cool too. Like depending on how you did it. I don't want it to be like he's tied up and like, I love you. Like, but yeah, like it would be cool if like, you did like a Mrs. Loomis thing where like, like when like Gail comes in and she's like, Gail? And Gail's like, no. And he comes in like, what if you did something like that? But Sam doesn't even question it. She just sees him and just boom, pulls the trigger. Because we see that scene where she has the gun. What if she just pulls the trigger? He is like, oh, he's like, no, behind me. And like all of a sudden the killers come out. She's like out of bullets or something. Like that would be, I don't know, that'd be cool to see.
That would be cool if they did something like that. Like she actually killed someone that was innocent. You know,
Yeah,
that would
yeah.
be
I
because
mean, Sydney did.
yeah, well,
Yeah, like so.
right. That would
I
be
mean,
cool.
Sydney's got more blood on her hands than anybody.
I know, man. I know. Well, let me ask you guys this to kind of piggyback off of that. You know, the idea of Zerny, you know, we've talked about this. I know we talked about it a lot, but I just wanted to, you know, it just popped in my mind when you were saying that. I do think the whole idea of him kind of pulling some strings, you know, being the puppet master of sorts, I do think it could be an interesting story, and it could be really well executed. And Zerny as an actor, I mean, he's just, I mean, he's just
so
great.
good.
He
Oh
is,
my God.
and that would give him some. I mean, could you imagine? You know, a couple of years from now, we could look back on this movie and have those moments of Zerny, some dialogue from him, just, you know, just a killer, no pun intended reveal or moments that he has. That would be great. But let me ask you guys this, and Eric, the Bearded Entertainment, brought this up in my stream yesterday. The fact of his absence in the marketing, does that make you think more so that he could be a reveal, a killer, or involved, or whatever? Or does it make you feel less like he could be?
You know, what I'll say to that, just real quick, is because he didn't get a character poster, which was my
Right.
big thing about that. And I know that seems like that's so irrelevant. What are you talking about? Well, with Scream 5, don't forget Vince didn't get a character poster. A lot of people thought it was him, and he ended up
Right.
just being like a early on kill.
Mhm.
But like, I think that this would be a cool opportunity to make him the mastermind, because you have that like, just based off of the last film. Oh, he's probably just going to be a kill about 15 minutes into the movie or something. This is going to establish this is going to kick off the big Ghostface 24-hour cycle or whatever that, you know, we've been getting teased. That could be it. Or maybe he's like you said, a mastermind. He's not running around in the costume or anything, but he's running the show. You know what I mean? He's the one controlling everything from his high tower or something. I don't know, but I think that would be cool, and that could be a good that could be a cool misdirect too, based off of one marketing to the next. You know?
Agreed.
Yeah, I do. I mean, that was the whole thing with Scream 5, right? Like the Vince mystery. Like, what is his last name? Why does he have a last name? Why is he in any of the character posters? Why isn't he in any of the marketing? I mean, you even had Kyle Gallner. He made his own. Remember, he made the little the little towel or whatever.
Yeah, that was so funny.
Like,
right?
That was great. Like, you know, and he just did. You know, it was cool. I mean, if they're going to have like a mastermind. Right? Like, if that's the direction that they're going to go, like, because we all are kind of under the assumption that there's going to be 3 killers. Like, that's something that's been like the consensus since they announced Scream 6 was like, okay, they're going to go the 3 killer route finally. And so if you do have like 2 muscles and then like the mastermind, as far as we know, there's only 2 characters that could be. It would be, because you'd imagine if it's going to be a Mrs. Loomis type character, it's going to be somebody older. The only characters that we have are older are Henry Zerny and Dermot Mulroney. So it's either Dermot or it's Zerny. Those are the only 2 options. So, and I mean, Dermot, you could have like the detective turned killer, right? Like that could be something that could be the approach that they go, kind of like in Scream 3 with why am I blanking on his name?
Roman.
No, the detective.
Kincaid.
He's married. Kincaid. Yeah, thank you, Mark Kincaid. There you go. Thank you. Sorry, I just completely blinked on that.
Patrick Dempsey.
Patrick Dempsey. Mark Kincaid. His that was the thing in Scream 3. It was like he's a little off. He's a little sus. Like
he was.
And now he's married and has kids with Sydney.
I know. So he gets to marry the queen. What the hell, Kincaid? What were you thinking?
Yeah, it's just it's that whole thing. So I just you know, I think that like if they're gonna go that approach, like you could go the detective turn Ghostface. I think you'd really have to sell that though. Like there really would have to be a reason behind it. Where I just think the therapist route, like if you go with Henry Zerny, I just think it's such a simple, easy, understandable, digestible reason. Like he's a therapist that has dedicated his life to serial killers and stuff like that and understanding the mentalities and stuff. And he just kind of got bought into it.
Yeah.
You know, and like, I think that's an easy, like, oh, okay. Like that makes sense type thing. Like, you know, we can all be succumbed by the darkness type thing. And there you go. And like, he's just like this there. And that could be why he's not marketing a bunch, you know, kind of try to keep things as under wraps as possible when it comes to him.
That's right.
I definitely think that's the route they could go. It's so bearded. Eric came in with the super chat that ties into what we're talking about right now.
Okay, let me pull that up.
It says it's at 3:04. So what is that? Your time 6:04 something?
Yeah. Yep, I got it. $5
Perfect.
super chat. Thank you, Eric.
Yeah, only because I know we are, just for people that know, we're starting to break it down into segments, but this is to what we're talking about, which is he said Kirby too. I mean, yeah, I mean Kirby, you could have Kirby be the mastermind, right? Because she's like the FBI agent and stuff like that. I just don't know if they would do that. Like as the mastermind.
I don't think so either. I mean, listen, she's had trauma, and she's a dynamic character, and Hayden as an actress could pull that off. But for some reason, I just think, and I could be looking at it the wrong way, I just think that it kind of would be, as far as the rhythm of the franchise, it would just be like, you know what I'm saying? Because she was best friends with Jill. Obviously, we know what happened with Jill. And then all of a sudden, however many years later, Kirby becomes the mastermind and she wants to be a Ghostface killer as well, or either control other Ghostface killers. To me, it just would be kind of like, I don't know.
It does kind of make parts of Scream 4 feel a little like weird, right? Because like
Right.
Jill was this master, like if Jill's the killer in 4, so like why wouldn't she tell that to Kirby and be like, hey, you want to get in on this? Like it almost kind of makes you question that.
I think they'd have to tie that
in.
in. I think they'd have to tie that. Like you'd have to do something. I think you'd have to do something where like you had like a flashback or something, which there are rumors about that, right? We got the image of like, what looks to be her house from Scream 4. So maybe they do. Maybe they do have that tie-in. That's very possible. But I just think it's a lot you'd have to explain, right? Like, so maybe she did know and she was involved, but then it's like, okay, well then why did Charlie attack her? Unless maybe he didn't know. Maybe he didn't know that she was aware, right? I mean, you could do that. Like, because Jill and her were best friends. So maybe she was in on it with Jill and Charlie was just the patsy. And maybe Kirby knew that Charlie was the killer, but Charlie didn't know that she knew. You know what I mean? So like he killed her and attacked her because he just wanted to kill her and attack her because he was, upset that she wasn't throwing it at him. And and so like that could have been the thing. And like at that point, Jill's just like, well, it is what it is. Like she's not gonna be like, oh well, jig is up.
Right.
Finally found me. That renegade who had it made.
The renegade that it made. Oh, God.
For a bounty.
Little Sticks reference there.
Ooh, there you go.
Supernatural.
Jake's on board.
Supernatural,
He knows.
baby.
He knew. Oh, okay.
I don't care what Adam Sandler says about them. They're a killer band, bro.
They are. They are, man.
They got some great music.
Great
music, man. Oh,
but no, in general, I could see the Kirby route. I think you make it make sense? Yes.
Yeah.
I just don't think they would go that way. Like to be honest though, I think anything that they do is probably going to piss people off. Right?
Of course it is. Yeah, of course.
I mean, like if they kill her, people are going to be upset about it. And if you turn her into a Ghostface, people are going to be upset about it. If she lives, some people are going to be like, she wasn't in the film enough. Why'd you bring her back? Whatever. There's always going to be something. So, I mean, at
I
the
will
end
be
of the
that
day,
person though. I'm going to tell you that right now. Like if they keep her alive and they like she just shows up and I'm going to be like, why?
Yeah, I mean, if she just has like
scenes.
a couple of scenes, like the scene in the trailers, and it's basically her just waving to the camera, "Hey, it's me, I'm here," and then that's pretty much it. I'm gonna be ticked off, man. I really am.
And you want to talk about? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just gonna say you want to talk about ruining the dark tone. Like this is supposed to be dark Scream, and we're nobody's safe or anything, and then you make this cameo character super safe. Like, come on, that would suck. I hope they don't do that.
Same here. Same here.
Night, something else I'd love to hear your thoughts on. Again, me and Jake talked about it on Friday, but there's and we could even go down this as like our next little segment. But part of it is there's talks about, I think it was Deadline, something like that posted it. It was like in one of the articles they touched on the idea of throwing around Kirby in a spinoff series. Because one of the lines in the trailer is she's like, I've been, hunting Ghostface killers or whatever, which alludes to like, oh, there's like all these Ghostface all over, all these attacks, stuff like that. And very likely this is what it sounds like is that this is going to be like its own storyline. Like there's Ghostface killers all over the place, but we're just on the Sam storyline. But there's all these other storylines, and so there's talks about like doing like a spin-off show or something where Kirby's basically, you know, solving Ghostface crimes, which they wanted to do back in like 2000 or whatever with Dewey and Gale. They wanted to do a spin-off series where basically the two of them would be like Scooby-Doo, just solving crimes. Like Dewey would be like the gun, and she'd be like the one solving stuff. And they never ended up doing it. So would you be game for something like that? Like a Kirby Reed, like even if she dies, you could still do it because you'd have like you just would have the end result. So you know how the story started,
right?
And you know how it ends, but they would make a series where you get all the meat and potatoes.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be cool. I mean, it lends itself to having a lot of possibilities, and I think again, she's a very dynamic character. So we get a chance to have our own horror nerd, you know, doing these investigations. It could really open up the whole mythology. I'd be all for it. You know, I mean, obviously they have to, you know, they have to have some things that are going to make it work and make it something that people are going to, you know, jump on board for. But I'd be all up for that. I think it would be really smart because, you know, if you think about it in that sense, Kirby could be like, you know, the center of the wheel. You know what I'm saying? Because she was in 4, she survived a Ghostface attack. You know, she goes through that, you know, the post-traumatic, you know, stress of it and so forth and so forth. She gets into law enforcement, and now she's actively investigating, you know, Ghostface killers or whatever. You know, it could open itself up even a little bit more. I think that'd be very cool. You know.
I just like the idea of world building in the Scream universe. You know what I mean? Like I'm very fascinated by that. You know, we kind of did it a little bit in Red Right Hand, and I would hope that they do something kind of similar to that. It's such a fascinating idea. Like the fact that this is a franchise that's like supposed to take place in like the real world and all that. I think it's really, to me, it's always been fascinating that like all these different killers decided to wear the same costume and murder people. You know, like dude, if that happened in real life, I talk about this all the time. Like that would be like the Marvel Cinematic Universe of true crime. Like people would be obsessed with this if this was something that really happened. So you can't tell me that there's not more crazy serial killers out there that would have wanted to do this somewhere else in the world. You know what I mean? Kirby could go and kind of mess with, like, stop all that shit, be like, no, you know, no, cut that out. That, I don't know, I would totally watch that series. I would be really invested in that.
Yeah, it would be cool.
I do think we get a series. I think we do get a series sooner or later. Whether it's like a Kirby spinoff, whether it's like an anthology version. I do like the idea of a couple months ago when the talks of, you know, are they going to bring back the Brandon James story? Are they going to bring back whatever? I do like the idea of like building, like Jake said, building the world that can branch into the films. Like, so there was talks about how one of the ideas were they basically wanted to use the series as like a, you know, like a farming system almost, right? Like, so you build these characters, you build these actors and actresses, you know, some of them die in the series, some of them live, and then you can use those to go into the actual show and vice versa. You could have Sam kind of trickle in and be a character, or Gale or whatever, you know, and you could just kind of have these interchangeable parts. I think that would be kind of cool. You know, because I mean, they own the rights, so like, you know, it's not like a situation like you see some shows like Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. like that tied into the movies, but it wasn't through Marvel. It was like its own thing, so they never could use any of the characters really, right? Like so, that was always this. You could have that, like you could have that intertwined kind of just universe and build these characters, and then if you find that like next gen Ortega or something. Well, now you have a character that people love from the series that's recognizable, that they know that, you know, has some popularity, and it just shines a light on the movies, right? So you highlight the movies, you do it. But also, if they're going to do a show, then that tells me that they're not going to stop at Scream 7. They're going to keep going. Because why? Yeah. Why would you make Scream 7 and then just stop and do a series when you could do both? And use the series to build the films and have more success in the films and so on. It's like, it just, you know, I don't think it would make sense to stop at 7.
Right.
But
I totally agree with that. I don't think they have plans to stop at 7. And why would they?
I don't. I don't. I mean, I broke this down before, but I think it is good information. Like, you got to think, like, so we already have the news that Scream 7 is greenlit, right? And there's talks that it may tie in, it may not, it may be its own thing, which I'd be all for. Like, if, like, say this is like the conclusion trilogy, right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is like the Sam and Billy story. You have that, and then maybe start fresh with 7. I mean, you're not going to start. You'll have the same characters, but just it won't be like the callbacks and the tie-ins. It'll just kind of be its own thing, which they said that they're trying to do in Scream 6 to an extent. But we already see like just evidence and stuff of connections and tie-ins to the past films, and they said themselves this movie ties into all the other films specifically for. Right, like they made that apparent. So Scream 6, like I could see them having Scream 6 kind of be the like final connector, and then they pick up Scream 7 as kind of like its own story, its own thing, its own directions with whatever surviving characters. Cool, that makes sense to me. But like you like after Scream 6, like let's say Scream 6 makes even like 200 million, right? So they've made 340 million on these first 2 films. They're probably not even in the green yet because they spent probably 100 million to get the rights, 50 to 100 million to get the rights. So let's call it 100 million. So that means they've made 240 million. It cost them 60 million to make these 2 films. So now you're talking 180 million plus, let's say, another 60 plus million in marketing, which would be another 60 million. So now they're at like 120 million in profit, and that's not counting like all of the theater spots, any like little variants here and there. They probably haven't made any money after Scream 6. So if Scream 7 is a success, why would you stop? Right? Like,
and you know what? The big thing with that, like people hear that and they're like, well, we just got 3 of these movies. Maybe people will be exhausted on them. But here's the thing, like Scream 5 was maybe the tiniest bit of a step outside of the typical comfort zone of this franchise, maybe, this film's going to be an even bigger step, and then 7, who knows what it's going to be. This is its own thing. You know what I mean? Like, this is still very much Radio Silence's Scream movies, and I'm here for it. I love it. But with that being said, now Radio Silence is, they're probably gonna do 7, then move on to their Escape from New York stuff, which is really exciting. Why don't we have someone else come on? Like, what about Christopher Landon, dude? Christopher Landon would do a killer Scream movie, in my opinion. I mean, he like Happy Death Day 1 and 2. Like, however you feel about those movies, they're very much so Scream inspired. Like, I think he would kill it. And another big thing is, like, a lot of people are like, man, I really want to see Sidney Prescott at the focal point of a story again. You don't have to do a whole trilogy, but what if we make another movie where it's about her getting attacked, and what if Radio Silence doesn't touch on that in 7? You could make you could make a whole trilogy on that. Personally, I'm not for that. Maybe one more movie.
Maybe one movie.
Yeah, one movie. Okay, maybe not a whole trilogy, but like one movie of that, I'm here for it, man. Hell yeah. Scream 8, man. Let's do that. I say yes to that. That would be really cool. Christopher Landon in the director's chair. Maybe Michael Kennedy from Freaky or something writing. I think that would be a really good movie. Gerald makes a good point too. Mike Flanagan, I think, would kill it.
Yeah.
Movie as well.
Yes.
There's lots of directors and writers out there that would kill it with this franchise, I think.
Yeah, I mean, why not? The beauty of Scream is that it's not a Michael or a Jason or something. Like, I can understand getting burnt out. Like, you just had 3 Michael films, right? And it's like, okay, like how much more can you expand on that story? When you start getting into like the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th film, right? But like the beauty of Scream is like you can tell a different whodunit every single movie. You could make a different movie forever. Like, you don't have to do the tie-ins. You don't have to do like every movie. You could make an anthology series on the big screen, essentially, where every single movie it's this other thing. And if Scream 6 does establish that there are all these Ghostface attacks and killers all over the world, it's not just Sydney and Sam and all these people, then you could tell that now we just go to this timeline over here with this person, and we go to this timeline over here with this person. And like, you could just forever expand the Scream universe. Like, at the end of the day, as long as it's a good movie, people are going to enjoy it. Like, if you go and see a Scream movie and it's terrible and it's like, oh, this was just clearly just for money. Even though I don't really like the whole cash grab thing, you know, because I mean every movie's a cash grab. That's the point of making a movie, is to
Right.
make money.
You
So
gotta
like
make the money.
I'm not really big on like the whole like, oh, this was just for cash grab. But there are movies that are clearly like, okay, they only made, like, they didn't make this to make a good movie. They made this to try to cash in on the name, right? Like
Halloween
like,
ends.
as long as- yeah, exactly. Halloween ends.
Had to clear my throat. Sorry.
As long as we're not doing that, as long as we're not getting like a Halloween ends, then make these movies forever. Give us a good quality Scream movie every single year, over and over and over again, and just tell new stories. That's the difference between Scream and other horror franchises. Other horror franchises, it's usually a specific person or persons, or Scream, it's just whoever's under the mask. So, yeah.
Agreed. And also, we've got Eric coming in with another super chat, $5 super chat. Woohoo! Thank you so much, man. And
Thank
Jake
you.
is totally, yeah,
Dude,
stoked.
lose my mind over
That's
here.
right.
Woo!
I thought you did. I was about to say we had to get a net and catch it. Get that mine. Okay. Eric says, I don't believe it'll happen, but talk about subverting expectations.
I think he's talking about the Kirby thing.
Yeah, the Kirby
thing
earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I agree.
It
Well,
would definitely be like
dude,
a out of left
can you
field
ima-
thing.
Can you imagine the conversations we'd have if if it was Kirby? I mean, it'd definitely
here
be
for
some
it.
good content.
Now,
here
I do
for
have
it.
a question about this though. Like, because like my big theory with Kirby that I pitched was like, what if her whole goal as a Ghostface is to just stop this from happening? Like, she has good intentions, but she's going about it the wrong way. And that's all based off of her upbringing, like as a teenager with her experience with Jill. And like, that was her best friend and she didn't know, you know? I could see that possibly being, I'm with Eric here. I don't think that's going to happen. But if that were to happen, that's what we see at the end of this. Would you be okay with that angle to Kirby's character?
Well, I think I'd be okay with it. And I remember, yeah, you had been talking about that as an angle. I'd be okay with it because it's something different as far as the motive. It's actually kind of interesting, and they could play it off. They could execute it in a very interesting way because her whole idea is coming from it's coming from a whole different, place than we've ever seen in this franchise. So yeah, I could see that, and I'd be okay with that. It's very interesting. It's an interesting thought. But yeah, I don't think they're gonna do that. Maybe
No.
if this was 7, like let's say we had another movie before this, and then they brought back Kirby. I think with 7, because I really do think, like you guys are saying, I think that we're going further and further away from the basic formula, and I think that is a good
Very
thing.
simple formula.
Yeah, it's a very simple formula. Yeah. But I think that would be something, that is super, super bonkers crazy that they would do like in a 7, But I just hope that Kirby is kick ass in this movie and that she has some really great moments and weight. Same thing with Gale, and I know that that's going to be so difficult to pull off with so many characters, but I just feel as though you don't want to waste these moments, with these characters and with these actors and actresses. And like with 5, I just think that the balance of time was just so off. We needed that extra, whatever it was, 20 minutes, 18 minutes, whatever it was, to kind of like fill out getting to know the new characters, but also giving the older characters more weight. So it's a horrible balance that they have to have with these movies. I wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah, no, it seems tough, and like also making sure to appease fans while also keeping things fresh. That's
Right.
probably the toughest thing to do. This is probably one of the hardest franchises to do something like that because
Oh, yeah.
there's so much you have to keep consistent while also having this itch to start going into new grounds. Like this franchise has always kind of played it very similar in each movie, maybe taking things a little slightly different down different paths in some of the other sequels. Like it's gotten campier, through like 1, 2, and 3. Gets campier with each movie for sure. 4 maybe takes a step back from that. 5 maybe another step. But I don't know. They've never really done anything outlandish with a sequel in these movies, and I think it's because of what you're talking about. Like there is a very specific formula, you don't want to mess with that. So I don't know. Me personally, I want to see them spin that a lot more than how they've done it. Like it's always been an inch or two, give me a whole like see what happens.
Right. And
Blucka-
Jor-El it was saying name is pronounced Jor-El though, like Superman's Superman's father. Love it, Jor-El, very cool, man.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. My bad,
Love it.
man.
What did so Blanca said? I wonder what an M. Night Shyamalan Scream mystery would look like. Not that any of the mysteries since Sixth Sense have been any good. I actually think he'd either kill it, like in a good way, like it would be great, or it would be just god awful. It would be like that was the worst thing.
Dude,
His
what
movies
about-
are kind of like that. They're either like really good and the mystery really hits, and you're like, man, that was there's M. Night Shyamalan, or it's like this terrible trash movie, and you're just like that. Like you didn't even need to do that. You had a great movie going, and you just ruined it. Like that would be my concern. Personally, I think it'd be too risky. Like
It would be
because
risky.
I think you could. I think
He'd want to make it PG-13 or some shit, dude.
Yeah, something stupid like that,
knowing his
yeah.
last couple of movies, he'd make it PG-13 and yeah. But like, dude, The Village though, great twist. Like,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know
love
about
that
that
twist. You go, man, because there are a lot of people that were pissed off. I remember hearing people be like, I can't believe that. I was like, man, that was cool. You know,
I
it
totally
took guts
agree.
to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. M. Night.
What
to
did
me- Oh, I was just gonna say real quick. M. Night to me, with his movies, like he has great ideas. You know what I'm saying? But I think sometimes, or there's been, you know, kind of like what you were saying, Fate. There's times when he just doesn't execute it well enough, and then there are times where it is, you know, executed very well. You know, it's the type of thing where like he's a great idea man. He's a great director. He gets good shots, and he can create atmosphere. But I think more often than not, he should have someone else do the writing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He should come up with the story, you know, come up with the story, have someone else flesh it
broad
out.
strokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like here's the idea. Here you go. I just think like, you know, I think of some movies and I'm like, yeah, like, you know, like Signs. Like Signs when it came out was pretty good, but it's like when you really think about it, it's so flawed and stupid. Like the one thing, the one thing that kills aliens is because it is the one thing that can kill the aliens is what the planet has 90% of. Like it's just water. Like, you know, like stuff like they didn't prepare for, they didn't plan on that. Like they didn't think like, oh, hey, we're allergic to this substance that makes up 90% of the world and that they need to consume daily just for it to survive. But like, you know, and then like Old, Old I thought was good, but again, I thought that was a movie that just lacked execution. I thought the idea of the story, like it had some good moments, but I just thought like it really just lacked the execution.
Well, I think the thing with Old is that and I'm being quite honest, and it's probably not popular, but I liked the movie. I really liked the movie, but I will admit the third act is where it faltered, or that last whatever it was, 15 minutes. You know, that's where it was kind of like, shit, what's going on? Because
that twist, man.
Well, the idea was good. The moments, the characters, like I was riveted to my seat. You know, for 2/3 of that movie, I was like, okay, what is going on? Where is this going? And then, of course, like I said, I think the finale is where it fell. And it's too bad because I was really, I mean, I still like it, but I recognize that it has, you know, those flaws.
Now I do want to ask, have you seen Knock at the Cabin yet?
I haven't
seen
it yet.
I want to see it.
I've
heard mixed things.
Dude, skip it, man. Like,
is it that bad?
I was bored. Like, I was bored there's not a moment of tension in that movie for me. Like,
damn.
Interesting.
They just like I've seen a lot of movies lately where the dialogue is just too telling. Like they basically give you everything you need to know about the entire film in the first 15 minutes. And I don't know. I don't know, man. Not a thing surprised me. Not a single thing about that movie surprised me. I saw everything coming. I don't know. I can't believe that was I can't believe that was hell yeah, M. Night. Let's keep this rolling. You know,
it was based off of a book, right? A novel.
And I've heard they changed the ending for the movie, which I'm not gonna say. Obviously, I won't spoil anything, but I don't understand why they didn't stick closer to the book. I don't understand. It makes no sense to me.
Did you read the book? You know about the book?
I haven't read it, but I looked into how it differs. And I don't like, they totally ruined it with the movie is how I feel about it. Like it's a really cool little story that I don't understand why they it makes, there's no motivation to change the ending of the story. Like it's all build up for this ending that they changed. I don't know. It's bizarre to me. It's a really weird, horrible decision in my opinion.
Well, now I gotta watch this movie just so I can be like, well, Jake said it sucked. I gotta watch it.
Watch it and shoot me a text because I'll tell you what the change is and you'll be like, why didn't they do that? That makes so much more sense, you know? And I don't know, man.
All right.
Real quick, are you guys watching The Last of Us?
Yeah, but I haven't seen the last 2 episodes though.
I haven't seen the last episode. Episode 7 or whatever that just came out. I haven't seen that one, but I'm up to date. They've done a good job with that show.
They have done I think they've done a really good job.
Have you seen all the memes that like stores are marketing the game and it's like game based on the show?
I love
and there's
that.
all these people that are like, and there's all these people that are like, I really hope. I don't know how many of them are trolls or not. Because I mean, we live in a world where people probably believe that stuff, but there's like there's like comments of people that are like, I really hope they keep it true to the show and the soul and the essence. I hope it's not just some cash grab game.
I love that. Well, shout out to Pedro Pascal, who I'm so happy. I am so happy that he, you know, is getting this opportunity to be in something that's very successful. And Bella Ramsey, man, look, man, first time I ever saw her in Game of Thrones, and most people that saw her on that, I was like, this young lady, there's something there. Like she just grabbed your attention like I had never seen a young person do. Now, granted, you know, the story lends itself to that, you know, what she was portraying and so forth, but she stood out so much in her small little, you know, role in Game of Thrones, and I'm so happy for her as well. It's a fantastic show, and I appreciate. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go finish stuff.
Well, I was going to say, and I appreciate that they have the guts to deviate, you know, from the game a little bit, but also execute it well. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't just deviate just to deviate. They, oh, we're going to do some extra stuff and tell you more about this character that you didn't really know much about. But they say, okay, we're going to do something a little bit different, but we're going to make sure that it's worth a damn. And it worked out good, you know.
Dude, well, I'm not going to say anything. Episode 3 though.
Episode 3, baby. That's
Let's
all you
go.
got. That should be a meme. Episode 3.
Episode 3, yeah. But they did a good job. Like the things that they did change. You know, like it still fit the story, and in some cases made more sense.
Yeah,
right. Like it was more like, okay, like I could see that. I could see that making sense. And yeah, I mean, they've already greenlit season 2, right?
Yep.
So we know that's coming. And I mean, good. I love seeing good executed. Like this wasn't like, hey, let's just make a series on a popular game to make a series on a popular game, right? Like it was like, hey, let's actually turn this. Because I mean, you think about it, there's very few like games turn movies that turn out great, right? Like usually they're a little rough, you know. But this they've done a really good job, and it's a great story, a great premise concept. You know, fungi, you know, they're able to, you know, adapt and evolve and turning us into these mindless zombies. Like that's cool. And it's something that like is actually based in like reality, right? Like, you know, it's not some like, like you know, a monkey was injected and bit somebody in a lab and now you know, now everyone's infected. Like
this feels more something like completely out of our control, which is scary. You know what I mean? Like
Mother Nature type thing. Like like
because the way the show starts too, like think about like that conversation. It's like they, you know, there was suspicion that this could happen and that we're all doomed, but no one's really, you know, no one
believes that shit.
No one cares until it's a problem, you know. And
that's right.
I think that show does a really good job at talking about that.
I was thinking that too, Fate. I was gonna say it, but I didn't want to keep going on this M. Night roll. But that is so true. It is like a better version of The Happening. Mother Nature. Like they said in Jurassic Park, Mother Nature found a way to freaking start killing humans, you know. And it is a much better version of The Happening. Every time I think of The Happening, I think of Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg, like, yeah, guys, it's
Oh
I
my
see
god.
it. Yeah, guys.
I just wish Mark Wahlberg would have like punched a tree or something in that movie. Maybe it would have been worth it, you know? Like, hey, screw you, tree. I can't do a Mark Wahlberg accent, but like that would have made that movie worth it. I would have been like, that's really funny. But no.
Oh man. All right. So real quick, let me jump to the chat too. And by the way, David had a great comment. Benoit Blanc is the cameo. He rolls in, solves it, and dips. Right.
That'd be great.
He's
That
too
would be
powerful
great.
for a Scream movie. It would be over.
Man. He
It would be
is.
over like that.
He is. And also just to remind folks, if you could, please hit the like button and it would really help to support us. We'd appreciate it. Okay, so we've got some ideas here. Jay coming in saying, do you guys think that they would give Mindy's death away in the subway scene, or is it a fake out? Jake, I'll start.
They might.
I'm going fake out. I'm going fake out here. I'm not 100% sure on her survival in this movie, but I do think that specifically is a fake out. They're teasing her death a lot, like if it's the ladder scene or if it's the shots we got in the teaser. So I don't think she's safe, but they are definitely teasing her death a lot in this film for some reason. So I'm not 100% sure where that's coming from. Why is that such a motivated thing in all the marketing? I'm not sure.
How about you, Fate?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fake, and I think it's either a prank or her like a dream sequence where she's gonna wake up on the subway or something. Yeah, I mean, but they might. I mean, it's not out of their own possibility that they. I mean, they've shown deaths and stuff like that in the trailer before.
Yeah, yeah.
So it wouldn't be like the most shocking thing in the world, but I do think she probably dies. Like I really thought Chad was the likely candidate for a long time, but I really think they're going to keep him around as like the Dewey-esque character. Like the big brother, surrogate big brother who couldn't save his sister. So they, he's like overly protective now of like Sam and Tara or just Sam or whatever the end result is. I could see that being the case. But I don't think that subway scene is her death. I think it's probably something different. And I imagine if they kill her, it'll probably be in the later parts of the movie. I don't think they'll kill her in like the first 20, 30 minutes of the movie. I think they'll do it probably like post an hour.
I agree. I totally agree. I think it's a fake out, no doubt at all. Adam coming in saying, I'm finally here, subscribed, and had to wait 20 minutes. I really hope that they filmed multiple endings. First of all, thank you for being here. We appreciate you subscribing and being patient. That's awesome. I really hope that they film multiple endings too. I want that flexibility.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Jarrell saying, what's up? Collective final predictions for Sam this time around. I have a feeling Melissa Barrera is really going to shine here even more than 5.
I think so too.
Yeah. I think that she's gonna be better than in 5 too. I would really hope so.
I think the Billy stuff is gonna even out a little more here, because like I've talked a lot about her performance in 5, and I'm like, to me, she's doing a Billy Loomis impression. Like it's spot on.
Yeah,
it's how I see it. I do think that's gonna balance out a little more here. We might start seeing some more Sam in this, opposed to her just trying to do that. I don't mind it in 5 personally though, because of if you keep watch it again with that in mind. Like that I've watched it multiple times thinking that, and I'm like, you watch 1 and 5 back and forth and you're like, yeah, she's totally just doing a Billy. Like that's how Skeet acts in the first movie. So it works for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. What do you think, Fate?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just they need to make her stand out more for sure. They do. That was kind of the thing. Like even the first time I watched Scream 5, I was kind of like, I don't really know how I felt about her. Not that like I said, they explain why she is the way she is in the first 10 minutes of the movie. Like, she did all these drugs. She's having, like weird visions. She's on all kinds of medication, all like that stuff. Like that's like you get the explanation of why she is the way that she is. But I really want them to let her have some range. I felt like they kind of just had her in a box. That in Scream 5, which is fine. But Scream 6, let her expand more. I'm not saying you have to she has to have this crazy Oscar-worthy, performance or whatever, but just allow her to have some depth to her character. Allow her to show us some things. So I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think she will have some great moments in 6, and I'm all for it, and I'll be very happy for Melissa. Um, Austin had come in saying, "What do you guys think about Tara? I feel she's the biggest wild card in the film. I've started thinking she might be the fake out death, and she's revealed to survive at the end." Ooh,
I'm almost like 100% sure she's a goner. Like,
really, 100%.
I'm almost 100%, man. Like, here's my going back to what I was talking about earlier with Mindy. They got this focus on Mindy possibly dying. They have this thing, and I really think that's gonna be your fake out right there. Mindy's gonna be a fake out death. They're really gonna kill Jenna, is what I think, because there is like a little bit of an illusion. You know, you see her like dangling there, in that one scene. But not that much, man. I mean, if right now, if someone was to say, what's the focus? Who do you think is a main character that's going to die in this film? I would say either Gale or Mindy. Like, not at all Tara. Like, I think most people think that one of those two characters is going to die, not Tara. That's why they're going to do Tara. Like, I think she's a goner.
Wow. Okay. How about you, Fate?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, touched on the idea before of like, you know, it makes sense to keep her around as long as possible, just because she's becoming this household name. Wednesday really put her on the map. But you also got to keep in mind, this film was written, developed, it's shot before the whole Wednesday thing. I mean, she got the scripts at the same time. You know, she was taking pictures with both the Wednesday script and the Scream script and stuff. So my guess is that there's a real possibility that she dies. Maybe they leave it kind of like ominous, you know, like kind of Kirby and Scream 4, where it's like, did she die? Did she not? You know, like let's say she falls off the thing and she's just like laying there, right? We think she's dead, and we just don't see her again for the rest of the movie. Like you could easily have her survive if you needed to, you know, have her go back to where, you know, just like, yeah, like, you know, through dialogue, or even just show a quick scene of like paramedics rushing in and saving her or whatever, or her maybe start Scream 7 with her in the hospital again. Like you could bring her back. Like it wouldn't be that difficult. But you know, again, I think that it would be in their best interest to keep her around and not kill her. Right? I mean, out of everybody, I mean, even Sam, you make an argument you're better off killing Sam than Tara at this point.
Oh yeah.
But did they first see that? My hope is that they did. You know, like her career is already starting going off. You know, I'm sure they were aware that she got cast as Wednesday when they were getting ready to do the filming. You'd imagine that they'd go, okay, we have Jenna Ortega, who is starting to really kind of take off here, and she's about to be in a Tim Burton series about the Addams family on Netflix. She's probably going to have some huge success after that. Like, I mean, common sense would tell you that she's gonna have some success. But also, does Jenna Ortega want to keep doing these?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, that could be the real thing. Although Courtney Cox did, but you know, Courtney Cox was a household name and like the face in many ways, but she also didn't really do a ton, right? Like she wasn't in these like huge blockbuster films or series. Like Friends, obviously, Friends is one of the, you know, biggest shows in history. But outside of Friends, like what did she do that was like huge, like thing other than like Scream and stuff? Like she was just in like little roles here and there throughout. So like Jenna Ortega, it's like if she, not just that, Marvel loves to get these young actors and actresses because they can have them for the next 10 plus years to round out their phases and stuff. Like I could see her getting a call for a character and that's it. Now she's making, you know, $100 million. And it's just like, well, she's priced out of Scream. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting, but
it is.
I hope that they keep her alive.
I hope that they keep her too, man. I mean, they obviously, you would hope that they would see things in the actors and actresses and, you know, so forth and so forth. So I hope they do too. I really, really do. We also have a super chat coming in from Radioactive Cosmic Rays for $5 super chat. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Seriously. Saying we've had things like Freddy versus Jason. So which horror series do you guys think could cross over well with Scream Ghostface for an event film? Oh, well, to me, I'll start off. To me, it would have to be, you know, some horror character that is based in reality. you know. So it'd have to be
Yeah.
something like, you know, just to name some killers like that, like My Bloody Valentine, geez, later
Leatherface.
Leatherface, yeah, Leatherface. So it'd have to be something like that. But I don't know. The only thing to me, and I'll pass to you next, Jake. But the only thing to me though is that Scream is so unique. I don't know if they could match the atmospheres. You get what I'm saying? The vibes, the
Yeah.
rhythms. You know, with Freddy versus Jason, it's easier to do. Number one, because, and not that those franchises are the same, but you know, they're two franchises that kind of came around the same time. They've had a lot of people behind the camera that have worked with each other and so forth. So there's a lot of commonality in those franchises, and you know, with Scream, it's just so unique. It'd be interesting to find a horror series that could match it tone wise.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I totally agree. There's not really another one where it's like, yeah, this totally matches up with Scream. You know, you could do like fuck, I know you did last summer or something like that, I guess, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't see that. I don't see that being a big matchup or anything. You know, Knight, are you still there, man? You kind of like, I think he's gone.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
The Ghostface got him. But
Ghostface got him.
That's it. It's over. But no, to like add on to that, like I see some people in the chat putting one of the first things that came to my mind was you know, the Lakewood slasher.
Oh, there's
sorry
no.
about that.
We
Yeah,
got
sorry
you.
about
back. No, you're all good.
Yeah. But yeah, like you could do MTV's like have like the Lakewood cast blend in with like the Scream cast. Like that could be kind of cool, you know, to where you have like the Brandon James mask, and that like it would have to be something like that, where it's like, because you couldn't do like, you know, like somebody said Candyman versus Ghostface. Like you couldn't do that, like, because it just would take away from everything. Ghostface is just a person. Right.
And like I also feel like Freddy and Jason work so well together because they were big like supernatural horror icons. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
in the 80s,
Exactly.
Kind of going back and forth essentially a little bit. So yeah, like that works.
But even
really
that
well.
was clunky. You know what I mean? Like, you had to, like,
it
kinda
was
make that where like you could have probably done, like, I think like a Jason versus Michael might have been, you know, a little more, because like they had to like, how do you bring Freddy into the real world? Like, you know, like, so you're in
like
this dream,
Michael
like,
and Jason makes more sense to me than Ghostface and anybody else. You know what I mean? Like it's just like
right.
It's such a specific brand of horror that I don't know if it would clash with most other things, I think.
Or do Victor Crowley versus Jason?
Yeah, like that would be perfect, you know? Like that's
have Kane Otter portraying both.
Both? Yeah, have him playing both. That'd be great.
Yes, that would be incredible actually.
Do that.
Oh my god. Yeah, man. But thank you so much for that super chat. We really appreciate it. Ghostface versus Candyman. Love it.
Ghostface versus Dexter.
Well, hey, that could actually.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, maybe.
That's a little bit better. Lisa saying, what do you guys think the motive will be? I've gotten more interested in that lately than who could be the killers. Ooh, that's a great question. Ooh. What do you think, Jake? Motives?
I definitely think it's one of those things that it's going to connect to the past again, and I don't want it to be that, you know? Like, I mean, with the Ghostface shrine, you pretty much, yeah, you know? It's got to be like, this guy's obsessed with all the killers, but as much as I'm really wanting to get away from that, because like every Scream movie has done that, I think that there is still room to do something new in that territory, and this could be it. Especially like, we've been talking a little bit about how, you know, the Ghostface murders are like the MCU to true crime fans in this universe. So to have somebody obsessed with that angle to it, that could be fun. It's parallel to all the, you know, the stab movie motives in the past, like from 4 and 5, but I still think it could be cool. I still think it could be something something original in its own right, where it's like these people, like, they don't give a shit about the movies, but the real stuff that happened, they're like big fanboys. I'm like, okay, you know, that works with Scream. I'm like, that's serviceable in my mind. I could see that working. I'll take it.
All right. How about you, Fate? Ooh, we lost.
He was like, nope.
Hey, look.
Sorry.
Hey, make sure that this is a clip. It's like Faye was like, see ya.
See ya. I'm not giving my thoughts on that.
He's like, I'm not even gonna think about that one. No, but I agree with you. I think the motive is gonna be rooted in the past, you know. And here's the thing to me: we're 6 movies in, and we are still connected to the past. And I know we've talked about that, and we know a lot of fans have talked about, you know, moving away from the past. And we've had some fans and some very good friends of ours say, no, we have to have connections to the past and so forth. I think that this franchise, not just as a fan enjoying them, but just looking at this whole journey of what they're going to do, I think it's fascinating to see, you know, are they going to break away from the past? Are they going to have motives that have absolutely nothing to do with things that we've seen before? But if I was to say, Lisa, I think it's going to be rooted in the past. I think it's going to have, you know, some angles of revenge, you know, as well, for the motive. And I'm okay with it if it's executed correctly. You know, I'm okay with it if it's executed correctly, because I think that ultimately, I'm very, very hyped for 6, but I'm very curious how it ends and what the possibilities will be for 7. You know,
yeah,
that's where I'm at with it.
And like the last thing I'll say about it, and then I swear I'm done. Like, to me, I feel like it would be way easier to write a new motive that has nothing to connect to other movies. And it would also be the most unexpected thing you could do at this point. It's not only easy, it's probably the best case scenario for shocking your audience. So I'm like, more than anything, I'm just shocked that we're about to be 5 sequels in, and most likely the motive in this one is going to be something that connects to the past. Like the fact that we've done that in every single sequel, one way or the other. It's like super surprising to me. It's so surprising we haven't had one movie that's just like something else. You know what I mean? Something that doesn't connect to Sidney Prescott or to the Stab movies, or you know what I mean? It's like, it's shocking.
We didn't have a Tokyo Drift. I mean, come on, guys, let's do this thing. It worked out for them.
Right.
No, just joking.
All right, you know what, you got me there. I can't argue with that. That's a great point, but still.
Imagine Scream 8 Tokyo Drift.
Scream Drift.
Australia Drift. Mate,
it takes place in Sydney too. Bro,
that'd be great.
That would be so funny. That would be so on the nose, but so funny.
Oh my god, that was good, bro.
I think the motive is going to connect to the past too. I mean, that's just kind of what it seems like. And like Jake said, that's what it's been every single time. So it's like, well, are they really going to change that now? I would like to just have a motive. I don't even mind if there is no real motive. You know, I say it all the time, like, you can't explain crazy. You know, like, and if you look at like most of, like, that's one of the things that I loved about Mickey so much. Like, his motive was insanity, literally. Like, even Mrs. Loomis points it out. Like, she's like, can you believe, did you hear that shit? Like, you know, he's psychotic. Like, you know, he's crazy, right? But I love that. Like, you know, like, because every motive is just insanity. Like, it could, does it really make, like, Mrs. Loomis' motive, just like good old-fashioned revenge. Like, yeah, but it's like to an extremity, right? Like, you're murdering people over it. You're just crazy, right? So I would be okay if they just, like, you know, wire, like, I mentioned this in the stream that me and Jake did, you know, like, one of my favorite lines ever in horror is from The Strangers, when he's like, you know, why are you doing this? And it's like, because you're home. Like, that's terrifying. Like, that is
chilling.
Terrifying. Yeah, like, there's no rhyme, reason, logic. Like, it's just, they're just crazy. But that's reality, right? You know, like, it's just like serial killers in real life are usually just crazy. Like, yeah, they might have their own, like, reason, but it's insanity. It's stupid. There's not a real motive. I mean, even like Billy and Stu said that in Scream, right? Motives, you know, motives are coincidental, right? Like, it's irrelevant. Like, it doesn't matter, right? Like, but here, if you really need a motive, and like you saw that Billy had his motive, his reasoning. you know.
Mhm.
But like Stu, like his reaction was like, oh, like I didn't even know that. Like I thought we were just killing. Like, because that was Stu's reason. Stu was just like, hey, you know, I'm here to kill with Billy, with my buddy. Me and my buddy.
Peer pressure.
Yeah, peer pressure. You know, like he didn't have a real motive. Like his was just he was just crazy. He just wanted to kill people. Like, so I'm okay with that. Like, let's just get back to just like, hey, like, why are you doing this? And it's like, why not? Like,
totally
do
agree.
I have to have a reason for this? No, I just wanted to kill you.
Yep.
You know?
Absolutely. And real quick, as we start to wind down, because Jake has a live stream coming up pretty shortly after this. Talking Star Wars is coming in with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Very, very kind of you. Saying, who do we think Ghostface is? I want to say Henry Czerny, and maybe a fake death, sort of like what Roman did, faked his death, and then surprise. Yeah, I mean, we talked about this a little bit earlier. I definitely think Czerny, put it this way, if Czerny isn't, you know, the mastermind or part of the machine, so to speak, I will think that's possibly a pretty big missed opportunity. You know, I think Henry Czerny is definitely in my sights. We've talked about Josh, and I agree with that. Tara's got some weird moments too, but I think that's kind of on purpose. So that's kind of where I'm going. What about you, Jake?
Dude, if they make Tara, I'm sorry, but if they make Tara Ghostface, I don't even know. Like, I don't
walk out the theater.
Yeah, that's insane to me. I mean, I don't know. Okay, but anyways, Henry Czerny, I could see a fake out death in this movie happening for him. I think that actually would be kind of fun. The thing about that though is you'd have to do that. That would have to be the thing to kick off the whole like the night of getting attacked by Ghostface though. That's my only issue with it, is I feel like that scene where it's placed in the movie, and I could be wrong about this, you know, I don't know. I haven't seen the movie. I just feel like where it's placed in the film is going to be our introduction to Sam, her in therapy, trying to get help, you know, with the events that happened a little less than a year ago. That's where I feel like it's going to be placed. So if they do a fake out death with him, it has, and like, let's say this is all staged, you know, Henry Czerny wants to do this to make Sam think that he's dead. You'd have to kick off the horror right there. You know, like right from her introduction onward, and then the rest of the movies just go. I don't see it playing out like that. I think opening kill, we have like 15 minutes of exposition with all of our characters, and then it gets started, and then it doesn't stop. That's how I am envisioning it. I feel like that's the best way to do, like kind of like how Ready or Not flows a little bit. You know how that movie, like, it's got like 15-20 minutes with your characters establishing everything, and then it's go time after the game starts, you know? That's how I feel like this movie's gonna flow, like a very similar situation. So I don't think that's going to happen personally, but I think it would be cool. Give me a fake out death. Let's see it.
Right. What about you, Fate?
Yeah, like, you know, one thing that we haven't talked about, which I think would be interesting, like, what if it's both Henry Czerny and Dermot Mulroney? Like, what if the detective and the therapist are in on it, right? With the candlestick in the closet, right?
Ghostface uses candles in this movie. We don't need knives anymore.
Right.
No, but seriously, I mean, like you could, like, it would make sense. You have, like, the like, who's going to, like, you want to talk about having, like, credibility and, like, alibi. Like, what better than, like, the therapist that is to Sam and the detective that's investigating the murders coming together and going, like, yeah, Sam just snapped. You know, I was doing therapy sessions with her. She was crazy. Like, she just, and the detective, like, yeah, here's all the evidence, da-da-da-da-da. I mean, obviously we know that it's a movie. They're not going to get away with it. But, like, that could be the reason, you know, where, like, maybe Sam is like, you know, like, oh, like, why are you doing this? And it's like, well, you know, like, here's the reason, here's the motive, here's why. And, you know, you're screwed. Like, you know, like, oh, you'll never get away with it. I'll never get away with it. I'm the detective of this city that's investigating this. And my partner is your therapist that has all the notes, all of you talking about having these delusions, you talking about how, you know, you have this darkness inside you and it's followed you to New York, and all of a sudden all these people start dying. Like, I mean, you could have like a great inherent establishment. Like, I think that would be pretty cool. Like, you could have the therapist and the detective in it, and then maybe like Josh Segura is the muscle. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. See?
That would be a pretty
Boom, mic
cool.
drop.
Yeah,
That's the
I
story.
like that. I like that.
I like
trivia.
that as well, man. Very, very cool. All right, guys. Well, hey, we're gonna get ready to wrap this up. For you guys in the live chat, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us so much. Great conversations and great questions, and thank you for all the super chats. We really appreciate that. But we know that there was things that we didn't get to, so definitely leave us comments in the comment section. Let's continue the conversation and more theories and so forth. Please hit the like button if you haven't already. It really helps to support us more than you know. And Jake will be on in a few minutes doing his live stream, so check him out. I'll be on later on tonight as well. And Fate, you got anything going on tonight?
No, just recovery.
Just recovering. All right, bro.
I gotta get a Fate Decided video up, but
there you go.
I'll get that up. Look forward to that. I haven't gotten that video up. So
Awesome. So you guys, we will catch you guys later. Take it easy. The collective has spoken. Peace out.
Peace.